Hey everybody, welcome back to Kruse Control. It is Monday, April 10th, 2023. Thank you for being here at Kruse Control, the home of entertainment news. I am your host as always, Brian Kruse. Thank you again for being here on this very lovely Monday. So it's a good day. It's a good day. And joining me back here at Kruse Control is Miss Rachel Blakely. Rachel, welcome back to the program. How are you doing tonight?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on a Monday.
Yeah. Happy Monday. We just saw you on Friday. We had a good time on Friday, though.
A little too good of a time. Saturday was rough.
Yeah, I slept in on Saturday. That kind of happens on drinking Fridays. It's a good thing, right? It's a good thing. It's a fun thing. But we had a great time. But we're going to touch on some stuff we talked about on Friday briefly because there's some updates, of course. But also joining us on Kruse Control for the very, very first time is Mr. Keoki. Kekaula. Kekaula? Oh, I said I fucked myself. I fucked myself. That's what happened, Keoki. Keoki, I fucked myself.
You're good. You got close enough. That's as
Kekaula.
as we want you to get.
Kekaula, right?
Kekaula.
See? Keoki. Kekaula. Welcome back to the program. Or welcome to the program.
Thank you.
See, you had faith in me, but I knew I was going to fuck up. That's just how it goes here on Kruse Control. So,
you're good,
Rachel's
man.
like, Thank you for being here, Keoki. Thank you for joining us for the very first time. How are you doing today? How's your day been?
It's been going great. I've been so excited. I've been hyped to be here. I haven't seen you for a long time, bro. So it's been such a pleasure. Thank you for having me on. I can't wait. And then Rachel, pleasure just meeting you. So this is a good, fun time. I've heard great things. I've seen great things. I want to be a part of great things.
We always have fun here on Kruse Control. It's always a great time. And we just like to have some banter, have some fun, talk about the news, and just, at the end of the day, we're just here to have a good time. So, as always, Keoki, you're going to see now it's time for some breaking news. Let's do this. Oh, wrong, but see, I fucked up already today. Breaking news. Everybody, it's Monday. It's totally Monday. So I want to dive right into some breaking news. And the very first thing I want to talk about today is the Bad Batch. So the thing is we had this whole Star Wars weekend that happened. So there's a lot of news coming out about Star Wars, of course. So the Bad Batch has announced they're going to do one more season, and it's going to be the last season. That's right. They've been renewed for their last season, which will air in 2024. And this is season 3 renewal for the animated series, announced, of course, during the European version of the Star Wars Celebration. The Bad Batch, in case you don't know what this is about, it's about a group of elite clones in the aftermath of Order 66 and the rise of the Empire. Season 2, of course, ended with the death of Tech and the capture of Omega, if you're a big fan, along with the revelation that she has a sister. Now, they had a teaser during the Star Wars thing. Yeah, they had a teaser in the Star Wars thing that was in-house. So a lot of us didn't get the chance to see it. They don't, put that online right away. A lot of times it's just something for the fans there. But, it's a big thing. They had Palpatine in there. They had a lot of big teases for people. Unfortunately, we can't see it online. But if you're a fan of the Bad Batch, you're getting one more season, and then it's done, unfortunately. Are you a fan of the Bad Batch, Keoki? You watch this at all?
I absolutely am. I just started watching it, actually, in the past 6 months. I didn't even know about that last episode. You just revealed it to me. I'm like, I watched the last episode. So I'm like, what? And I figured she had a sister because I'm like, she's a clone. She's with them. So this is going to be a great entry.
Rachel.
Thanks for letting me know. I'm going to go back and rewatch it because now I'm super excited about it.
I'm screwing stuff up here tonight, Rachel. I'm screwing it all up. It's a Monday.
I believe in you. The rest of the shows could be great.
Exactly.
Oh, jeez. Oh, I can't believe it. Well, sorry if I spoiled that for anybody out there. GR is saying hi. Hey, GR, how you doing? And he's asking if I'm drinking today. Unfortunately, I'm not, GR. Maybe if I had one, it'd be okay. I don't know. But the Bad Batch is coming out for one more season, which is great for Star Wars fans. Of course, we have lots of Star Wars news today, so that's only a touch. We're going to get to some more later. We will. But next I want to talk about Cruel Intentions. Okay, so there's going to be a Cruel Intentions TV show for Amazon. That's right. So based off of the actual movie, the 1999 cult classic, Cruel Intentions is getting a remake, 8 episodes. Now they're saying it's for Freevee as of right now, but Freevee is kind of up in the air because Amazon Prime likes the idea of this so much they might actually take it to Prime Video, which of course is a higher tier. I mean, Freevee still isn't like the bitch of Amazon, but it's not what Amazon is, So for them to go there, it'd be a bigger deal for them. It'd be great for them. So hopefully it does. Then again, I'm not that excited about this. but in case you're wondering, it's set in Washington, D.C., and the Cruel Intentions series follows 2 ruthless step-siblings who will do anything to stay at the top of the Greek life hierarchy at their elite college. And when a brutal hazing incident threatens the entire system, they'll do whatever is necessary to preserve their power and reputations, including seducing the daughter of the U.S. Vice President. So, Cruel Intentions. Who knew we needed this? Rachel, what about you? Did you know we needed this? Are you excited about this? Are you like, fuck yeah, Cruel Intentions?
I don't think it's necessary, and I think it being on Freevee will make it even less necessary. Right. Because one, Freevee is just it's not a good service. Like
IMDb Pro TV?
I think it should be there because there should be free access to entertainment. But also, I don't think it should necessarily be investing in new properties. I think leave the new properties to the paid services, put second run on free services.
Right.
And I don't think Freevee is going to be the platform that will let this show be as sexy as it needs to be. Honestly,
you're
because
right.
The original movie was like really sexy. Like that was a hot movie. It was gross but hot at the same time. And I think that's a crucial element to that film and that not franchise. It's only one film, but that property.
Yeah.
So I think
HBO, it's a cult classic though. They're like, yes,
HBO wanted to do it,
right?
Maybe, but Freevee,
and that's why maybe why they're also
going to suck.
But maybe that's also why they're saying maybe we put it on Prime, because of course Prime can kind of go into that a little bit more than Freevee would be, especially like you're saying, being a free service. It always is like, how much can we actually go? Yeah.
Hey, Amazon,
what do you think, Keoki? Are you excited about this? Do you think that it's good outside on Freevee, or do you think they should go the Prime route?
Definitely go the Prime route, and just like Rachel touched on, Freevee is just kind of like a show, but at least with Prime, you're gonna get the audience that's like, a little intrigued, and hopefully they can draw that R PG-13 hard R or slight R rating to kind of juice it up, to make it as provocative as it was back in 1999, which you're like, Sybil Blair, Sarah Michelle Gellar, this is great. I love this. What's going on? The chemistry, Ryan Phillippe, and
like, it's awesome.
It's awesome.
I don't think it needs to be done at all. Like that movie, fantastic. Leave it alone. But if you're going to do it on like HBO or Showtime, something sexy.
Something that can garner that kind of feel.
Yeah.
How can you even get it there on Freevee? I mean, that has to be the conversation they've been having behind closed doors. You have 8 episodes of this. Like, come on, just if you're gonna go there, go there. Don't give me a watered down version of this shit, because nobody wants that. Because people already go into it like we are, being like, is this needed? Like a little hesitant, Like, do we really care to go back to 1999 and revisit this? I don't know. I don't know if we do. But apparently Amazon thinks we should. So whatever Amazon says, Jeff Bezos, you tell us what to watch, okay?
Yeah, Lord of the Rings, Full Intentions.
Yeah. But with this coming back, somebody else that wants to keep coming back is Chris Pratt. Now, Chris Pratt did an interview recently where he was talking about Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and his character of Star-Lord. Now, he was saying, because everyone's saying that the third one's the end for all of this. Like, James Gunn's leaving, of course. He's gone to DC, as we've talked about. Dave Bautista, a friend of the show. Good old Dave was like, I'm done with this. Dave. Everyone's saying they're done. But Chris Pratt's saying, well, I'm not done, guys. I'm over here. I'll do some more. So in an interview, he said, there's ways for people to come back from the dead. That being said, I'm not saying that I don't feel like I'm done. I shouldn't go into spoiler territory, he said. I don't want to be like that. Oh, well, Chris Pratt says that Peter Quill doesn't die, which, again, he's like bumbling when he's doing this. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, even if I do die in this, there's a way to bring me back. So if you're talking about like practically like, can Peter Quill come back? The answer will always be yes for me. Now, if you're saying to me, Chris Pratt, the actor, do I want to reprise my role as Peter Quill? And is there mileage in that character for me? And do I have the bandwidth or the headspace for that? I do. And I'd be interested in playing that character again. So I feel like when he's saying all this shit, I think you're right, Rachel. I think he spoils it. I think he accidentally says that he dies, but then also being like, but you know, I can still come back. I'm not saying I died. You know, it's a little funny to hear that. You know, Keoki, what do you think? Do you think that he's spoiling it right now, or do you think that he's just like trying to fumble around the Marvel way to be like, I'm trying to dance around this because I can't say anything?
Right. Legal's probably like, what are you doing? Please stop. But at the same time, you're like, dude, it's part 3. That means this is the last one in the series, just like you said. After that, Gunn's gone, Bautista's gone. So you've lost pretty much like your comedic core of the cast minus Quill. And I think Bradley's done too, if I'm not mistaken. So it's just like, hey, you want to play Peter Quill, but how far can you carry Star-Lord without the whole team? But yeah, he's trying to pretty much talk around it and say, hey, I'm going to be out of this. But he pretty much confirmed your character's going to die without actually saying.
It kind of seems like that. And you're right. Yeah. Everyone says they're done. Everyone's like, we're done. But then again, he could come back and the thing about the Secret War stuff coming up. True. Maybe he pops in. Maybe he's in the Kang Dynasty thing. You never know. But you need him without the rest of the group. And is it the same group without everybody else? If it's just him and everybody else is different, I don't know how that works. Exactly. I don't know. I think it makes more sense if you go to DC and then work with James Gunn on something else and play a new character. That seems like that makes more sense. Right. Or or just maybe your careers don't Marvel for now.
He's still, Rachel, he wants to keep suckling at the Marvel teat and
he wants
that money.
I would, yeah.
Who doesn't want it? Who wants that? Who doesn't want that?
Of course, he wants to keep doing Star-Lord. Who wouldn't want to keep? He has theme park rides on both coasts, and he's got all this Marvel money from the films. I'd want to cash in too, but I think if his character meets its natural end point, there's no purpose in bringing him back. And if Gunn is gone, the Guardians are done, because the only other director I could see competently taking over Guardians would be Taika Waititi, and he's pretty busy.
Right.
Yeah, he's also doing a Star Wars movie now that he's writing. He's going to be directing. He's going to be starring.
I think he's making another Thor movie probably.
Right. Yeah.
I think
he's got a lot going on, and he's got TV shows, and dude's busy. Dude's working.
AB Property says that they're pissed that he ruined the show,
right?
And GR's saying that, but GR's saying his father's a god, so he could come back.
It's true. It's true.
Put him
He's
in
part
a couple.
God.
Put him in a couple what if episodes if he really wants to explore some different stuff.
He could do that.
Do it animated. There's options, but I think Guardians has run its course.
Well, and even this movie was pretty fun too.
It's not a solo thing. Without the rest of the team, you don't have the adventures of Peter Quill. You have nothing.
Star-Lord,
and I disagree that Love and Thunder didn't suck. Love and Thunder was amazing.
No, it was fun. That was a fun movie. I loved it.
That's what we have.
Someone in the
80
comments.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think, if you compare Love and Thunder to, Ragnarok, I think Ragnarok is the stronger movie.
Yeah.
I still love that movie. I mean, I still had a lot of fun with Love and Thunder. I just don't think it was what a lot of people wanted it to be,
I think
coming off Ragnarok.
I think got a little bit neutered. They didn't let Taika go as far as he wanted to.
Right.
Friend of the show, Taika.
Friend of the show.
They didn't let him go as far as he wanted to with some certain storylines.
Yeah.
But I still think it was really good.
No, I agree. I had fun with it, but there was a longer cut, and he cut this one up. It was less than 2 hours. So if we get to see the rest of it, we probably see a more full movie and shows everybody what they wanted to see, or kind of an idea of that.
They should have let Valkyrie be more openly gay.
Yeah, I would agree.
Nope.
I would agree.
That would have been interesting.
They cut Valkyrie's whole romance story and chopped it all out, and kind of made it suck for her.
Yeah, I mean, you're
we could have used Hercules in this shit too. They just tease him at the end. We could have actually used him in here, especially with how great he is. It's
with Natalie Portman's character dying and going to Valhalla at the end. Oh my God, tears.
Yeah, no,
devastated.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Set up for greatness coming in the next one. You would think.
Exactly, it's great.
I mean, we'll see what happens with that with Thor 2. I think Chris Hemsworth isn't done yet. It seems like he's still enjoying doing it. Of course, he has this whole resurgence after they made Thor a little bit more goofy. which was great because before he was too serious. So Taika really revolutionized him and made him great. So maybe he'll stick around for a while. Maybe Taika will do another one. You never know. Never know. We'll wait and see. I also want to talk some more about Chris Pratt. In a way, I want to go talk about Mario. So we got an update about the Super Mario movie. All right. So the numbers came in, everybody. We were talking about it on Friday. They were projecting for like 195 million opening weekend. Well, if we go worldwide, Mario made $377.2 million. The biggest new global opening record for an animated film ever. Wow. Now you got 57 million domestic for opening day, 146.36 for their three-day domestic, and then they also had 204.6 for their 5-day domestics, which is huge. It's huge numbers for them. There was a $100 million budget for this, so they've already made their money back. And then on top of that, if you put in perspective for other movies that came out at the same time for Easter weekend, Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, from their 5-day opening, they only made $200 million.
Oh, wow.
Jurassic World Dominion, 145 million. Fast and Furious 9, 70 million. Mario kicked all their ass, threw a red shell at them, and whooped their ass down to a freaking pit. Let's go. He was really excited about it. And looking at the old Mario movie, too, they spent, because I had these numbers like roughly on Friday, but here it actually is. So they made $20,915,465,000, and it was a $48 million movie. So the first Mario movie lost big time.
Right.
And this one is a colossal hit. They're already talking sequels. Of course they are. It's one of those things where you make that kind of money.
I would people love are going to want to make Luigi's Mansion.
Oh, I think
that'd be great. Luigi's Mansion movie. Like I know that cuts Mario out of it, but Luigi honestly is my favorite Mario character out of the main bunch.
Charlie Day. Fantastic in this.
Charlie Day was great.
He was so good. Keoki, did you see the Mario movie over the weekend?
Oh, I did. I took my family to go see it. At night on Thursday night. We went and saw it with a bunch of friends, and it was just fun. I was loving it. I got all my little Mario fills in, from Super Mario to Mario Kart, Mario 3, and even Baby Mario and Baby Luigi. It was just seeing all of that come together, and Donkey Kong. It was just fun to see all that come together. We just had so much fun. Great movie. So much fun.
Yeah. Did you feel like they actually harnessed in the Mario vibe for this? They actually nailed it?
I think they did. They nailed the Mario vibe. And then they even put in the questions of where did Princess Peach come from, which I thought was really fun to lead into other things. I was like, that's really good. And then they didn't even talk about Wario or Waluigi or Luigi's Mansion, which I would just love to be on, because that's what it felt like when he was in the castle. I was like, this is totally Luigi's Mansion field right here. Super freaky, super fun, and hilarious.
They had that vibe for one section of it. Rachel, you probably didn't see it yet, right? So don't go too far.
No.
Okay,
I was gonna see it maybe today, but I'm here.
Okay. Hopefully,
I'll probably see it tomorrow.
Sorry, I know, but there's a lot of fun stuff in there.
It's Mario, so if they're basing off the source material, how much can you really spoil it?
Yeah. And I sent you both that Bowser trailer or that Bowser music video.
I
don't know if you watched it.
And I have to say, if I was Princess Peach, I would go in for Bowser. What is she doing with Mario? What a loser.
He's got the heart. And just to let you know, I think they're trying to get it nominated for an Oscar, and I'm like, it should get it because it's great.
The song?
Yeah, they're trying to say that it is possible that it could get nominated. It could meet the requirements.
I really want Jack Black to get an EGOT, so let's do it.
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
I need that.
And the funny thing about it, though, too, is I was listening to an interview about him, about the movie, The Process. They said they were halfway through the movie when they said, hey, what if Bowser sang a song? And then they gave him a 10-second jingle. And then he took that. And he's like, let me work on this. And he went to the D, and then they put together this. And then he's like, I'll only do it if I can do this version. And they're like, sold.
Yes.
He put his whole Jack Black OC into it.
Exactly. Super Jack Blacky. I'm like, yes.
I will never hear Peaches now. That's all I'll think about, Right. I've been singing that shit all weekend long.
You're right.
I was at work today humming that shit. I couldn't get enough of it. It's just good for them, Good for them. AB says nope.
Nope.
And Chris Panico says, I'm glad to see your faces. Thanks, Chris. Welcome back. GR said only 200 million. Yeah, well, I think that's our previous comments. I missed comments.
Man.
Yeah,
that's
you
opening
know,
weekend. It's
That's
gonna
opening
it's gonna
weekend.
stack up.
And that's what they're saying
in.
too. They're already saying this projecting because how well it's doing is it might be the first animated film to cross 1 billion. If it keeps going at this momentum, which would be enormous for Illumination, who already is a big company, and for Nintendo, like good for Nintendo. Like Rachel was saying on Friday, they have the launch of Super Mario Land that just happened here. In California, and then on top of that, they had this come out. So it's a big like push for Mario. Yeah. Which good for them if it does work out, especially after the first one did so shitty. But you know, it's like the thing is too. You know, what do you do with something like that?
With it making this much money, Universal was already coming for Disney's throat in the theme park. And now they're coming for Disney's throat with their bread and butter in animation. Like Disney has got to watch their backs.
They're
gonna have to be careful.
Not sleeping anymore.
Universal, they're on their game right now. They're like knocking out these hits, and I'm like, dude, like you got Despicable Me 3 or Rise of Gru doing so well, and I'm like, dude, that was like part 3, 8 years removed, and then you're just like building. They just keep building this. With Mario, this is just insane because we knew it was going to be big, but we didn't know it was going to hit this hard. Still, 35 odd years later. So, great.
We were talking about it being, just the fact that, they have all these voice actors that are huge people involved with it too. We're like, does that help it or does it hurt it? I feel like it helped it probably,
Great.
I probably helped it. And it's unfortunate for a lot of voice actors that don't get those jobs. But then you see some of these performances like Jack Black, and I'm like, I can't see anybody else doing that now,
Right.
And Rachel, you'll see when you see it, and especially because we've been doing this, shoving these peaches down your throat for the past few episodes, you're going to see it more and more and be like, oh shit, it really hits. It's really
Jack
quite
Black was
something.
the number one casting I was super excited about for that film.
Right. Yeah. You knew he was part of it. You're like, all right, this is going to be good. You're like, it's going to be fun.
Yep. And Super Mario was out. If you haven't seen it, go see it, everybody. I still will say go see it because I had a lot of fun. I think we all had a lot of fun. Rachel's going to have a lot of fun when she goes to see it. It's going to be great. But also, speaking of 80s nostalgia, I want to talk about Stranger Things. So Stranger Things now, we've talked about how the play is coming. All right, the play is coming. Season 5 starts shooting in June, of course. Right. But now, I never thought I'd say this. There's an animated series coming now. The animated series for Stranger Things, currently untitled, but it's going to be developed. It's already in the process. It's going to be done by Flying Bark Productions with Eric Robles attached as executive producer. Now, the Duffer Brothers actually made a statement about this, and they said, we've always dreamed of an animated Stranger Things in the vein of the Saturday morning cartoons we grew up loving. I love Saturday morning cartoons. They're awesome. And to see the dream realized has been absolutely thrilling. We wouldn't be more blown away. But when you see what Eric has done and the team have come up with, the scripts, the artwork are incredible, and we can't wait to share more with you. And the adventure continues. Now, not giving much details. Of course, they didn't give much when the actual play was released. More than this. But you see this, and for me personally, I'm like, do we need to keep going with this as an animated form? That's the question I put out there right now. Because we're going to have the 5th season coming out, and now we have a stage production, and it's like, are we trying to latch on to Stranger Things? Is it going to get to a point where it's like, we're doing too much, and then it kills how good the show is, or do we need more? Because that's the question I throw out to the group today. Rachel, what do you think? Are you excited about this? Do you think this is a good idea, or are they going down the wrong path, and is it going to suffer like Stranger Things as a whole franchise?
I think that they could very easily do well with an animated series. I don't know if the Saturday morning cartoon is the route to go with it. I respect animation as a medium quite heavily. I think if you get the right animator in there, you could make a really interesting horror animation with Stranger Things. You can keep it in line with the series. The kids are getting older. Obviously, you're gonna have to stop casting them as 12 and 13 anymore. These are
gonna fly.
Full ass adults at this point.
Right.
They're in their late teens, early 20s. They've grown out of the roles. And if you want to keep those roles going, animation is a natural progression for that.
Absolutely.
But I think if they go more of a quirky, like pop, zing, boom kind of way with it, it's not going to go well. But if they go with like a horror theme, it could go very well.
That could be really interesting too.
Animator,
it could be totally different.
The animator who did Samurai Jack, he's done a lot more in the adult animation sphere lately. I can't remember his name. But he could be a really interesting choice to animate it. I think he could really capture a really interesting dark horror element to it.
That'd be really cool.
That would be cool.
And that would be something that'd be totally different from most productions that are like this too. Like the Saturday morning stuff, I think about like Turtles, and then they had the Ghostbusters show for a while. There were a lot of like fun things there, but Stranger Things, I mean, it is very, dark and dreary. Like, I feel like making it too upbeat, like you're saying, the pow, bam, zip, whatcha, that kind of stuff might not be the vein of that show. But maybe something like that would work. I mean, I'm still kind of reluctant about this. I know AB Properties was saying in the comments that, why not? It's a cartoon, and cartoons are great. And then Paniko Way is saying pass on the stage play, of course. I know a lot of people are about that.
Pass on the stage play. I'm not here for a stage play.
Yeah, I don't know, but like this could be interesting. Keoki, what do you think? Are you excited about this? Think this is a good route to go, or do you think they should just leave it be what they've done and not oversaturize the Stranger Things world?
I love Stranger Things, and I was super sucked into season 4, especially the breaking it up and going in and drawing things out, and bringing in so much emotion, and just seeing all these kids grow up and seeing everything come together. I would really like to see an ending to it, and going into animated form. As much as that sounds cool, I would be, like I said, a little miffed by it. I'd rather see a different horror genre or just an offshoot of something else, rather than trying to continue it on, because I know Netflix is like, hey, we got to hold on to this thing. We got this hit. That's
what it seems like to me.
Oh yeah, that's their only number one thing right there. And they know, okay, we're putting in, 30, 50, 100 million into this stuff to get it going. And we're going to try to keep it going as much as possible, but they should let it go, get a new character, get some new characters, new stories to build off from it, or, do an offshoot of it. You can do kind of like a spin-off format and just make something completely different, but as good, or if not greater.
But with like Vecna, how do you do that as a Saturday morning cartoon? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you think about how dark and the upside down and like these creatures. It feels like it's gonna be something that's gonna haunt kids' dreams more than what they want to do with it. I get they love the '80s, and that's totally down that path. But like for me, I just don't see how this works and translates into that world. I just don't know. But I love cartoons, so. I mean,
maybe
I don't know.
It's like a Mumra thing from, Thundercats. Like, you look pretty freaky. Got the bands on. You got eyeballs that you're kind of like all black with red. Maybe they work it that way. I don't know. But that's the only thing I can think of that works for Saturday morning, other than we got to play this thing on Amazon at night, like, the Boys series or Invincible, and go really hardcore with it.
Yeah, maybe that's a route too, because Netflix really is that route. Rachel, would you watch something like that if it was like in the vein of The Boys, but it's Stranger Things?
Again, if they got the right animator and they really went dark with it, like if they're trying to make it for kids, that's not going to be a show I'm going to watch. But if they make it more in the adult animation vein, like in the Adult Swim vein, like Adult Swim has some really beautiful animation styles. Like it's not all just Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Great show, but not what I'm looking for out of Stranger Things. But if they do something geared towards adults and in that horror vein, or older teens and adults, I think it could be good. It's not something I would seek out for them to make, but if they're going to make it anyway,
right?
Yeah, try it out.
Right. Yeah, don't make it like a Ninja Turtles or Beetlejuice or the Ghostbusters series. Don't do
it's not gonna fly.
Make it fun.
But I believe in the Duffer Brothers. I believe in them so far, and they said they're excited about this, and it sounds like they're letting new people come in and do it too, and they're also working with them as well. So that's always good to have some fresh ideas into a franchise, especially if you're going to try to continue it in a new form. So hopefully it goes well from them. This is coming, everybody. Stranger Things, the animated series. We'll see if it's good. Saturday morning, everybody. I want to keep talking about the 80s a little bit more. And with the 80s, I think of Doc Brown, I think of Back to the Future, and of course, I think of the beloved Michael J. Fox. So Michael J. Fox's new documentary is coming out. It's called Still. Now, it looks very touching and very sad. Of course, he's dealt with a lot with the Parkinson's, everything he's gone through. Apple TV Plus produced this. It's coming out May 12th, so they released their first trailer. I thought the music in this was great. Honestly, the music was fantastic. More than a feeling, it felt perfect. But they're saying the film, which will incorporate documentary, archival, and scripted elements, will recount Fox's extraordinary story in his own words. The improbable tale of an undersized kid from a Canadian Army base who rose to the heights of stardom in the 80s Hollywood. So Michael J. Fox, and he's gone through a lot. If you think about everything he's gone through and watching this, like hearing the first symptoms that came with his Parkinson's, he's talking about his pinky moving. I was like, oh my God, it's so touching. The fact that he's talking to his wife about it. And his wife is like, whispers to him in sickness and health. It's like, it's one of those things to show their relationship and their partnership and how close they are, that they could battle this together and it would be fine. And to hear it in his own words and to hear him talk about how he's like, I'm a tough son of a bitch, and then he's like, I was bigger than bubblegum when this happened. I had fun listening to him. And the fact that, the other thing that I loved about this trailer was when they said, because it's called Still, and he's talking about his acting style. He's like, I was never still before the Parkinson's, which is very true. If you watch any Michael J. Fox thing, that kinetic energy and the way he just carries himself on his screen, and the way that you just he just lights the screen up when you see him. Hence why they wanted it for Back to the Future so bad, I would say. But I saw this and it made me really want to see this. I've been hearing about this for a long time, and actually seeing the trailer, seeing him talk about his life and his career, I think it's going to be fantastic. I think it'll be like a home run for Apple TV Plus. I think we'll see. Keoki, what do you think? You saw the trailer. Are you excited about this? And do you think it's going to be something great for Apple TV?
Oh, without a doubt. Just Michael J. Fox to my heart. Watched Back to the Future. I've watched part 1, 2, 3 at least 35 times probably in this decade. So it's me and my family have enjoyed, and Michael J. Fox is great, especially from him going from Family Ties to Spin City, and then him being that all-around great guy. Like you said, full of energy, Teen Wolf. And then if you watch one of his
Teen Wolf,
movies, Midnight Madness is 1980. He's 15 or something. He's in this old movie with the Dr. Pepper guy. So it's just seeing him do all of this stuff over the course of 30-something odd years, and then battling this disease and continuing to be positive through it is just remarkable. It's going to be a hit. I'm going to watch it. Just because I love Michael J. Fox, so it's gonna be awesome. Even if I do cry, I'll definitely be watching it wholeheartedly.
Yeah, which is what AB Productions says. They'll cry the whole time. And it's gonna be sad. It's gonna be sad. But the fact that he's so strong and he's battled through it. The fact he was talking about the pills numbed him for a while, then he let that go. The fact that he's been able to carry himself this whole time, still have a career, have a whole TV show where they dealt with it was his family and he had the Parkinson's. The fact that he can actually keep going and kind of laugh at the disease, but also cope with it and put it out there it's amazing. It's a great tale to tell, and it's going to be very informative to people that don't have it or maybe are just going through the early stages of it and what you can do and how you can survive. Rachel, what do you think about this? You saw the trailer. Are you excited about this? I know it's probably going to be really sad, but I think it's a hit, right? It looks like it could be excellent.
A hit. You go ahead and save this clip right now for when we cover the Emmys. It's going to win an Emmy. 100%. This is a documentary. Is it a series or a solo film? That's the only thing I didn't understand.
Solo film. So
it's going to win something in some category at some award show. 100%. There's no way I don't see this walking away without awards. It's going to be absolutely amazing, heartbreaking.
Totally heartbreaking.
Go through all that in the public eye too, to be one of the biggest stars in the world at the time, and then to go through such a devastating diagnosis and eventually have to step away from doing what you love. That story is going to be incredible and heartbreaking.
That's really so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Yep. And as GR said in the chat too, Michael is awesome. Of course. Yeah, he's super awesome. Everything I've ever heard about him too, just being a fantastic human being.
Right.
And the fact, from all accounts, great guy.
all accounts. And the fact that he still has all the fan stuff for Back to the Future, and he's, he cheered that franchise on after all these years, and like he wanted to come back as Doc Brown. He said, he goes, if you remake it, I want to be Doc Brown. Like, the fact that he just sees his life as not done. It's still going. A lot of people could happen to, and they could be like, I'm done, and then just give up on life. But he still has a lot of life to live, and he's moving forward, and this proves it.
He is killing it.
He's killing it.
He's awesome.
Yeah. It made me really excited when I saw this. I think it looks very touching, and good for Michael J. Fox to put this out there, because I think it is going to help and affect a lot of people in a positive way. And I think it's going to be a huge hit for Apple TV. And you're right, Rachel, there's going to be a nomination for this. There'll be multiple nominations probably, and good for them, because honestly, I already can tell it deserves it. I can't wait to watch it on May 12th, everybody. Michael J. Fox coming back to your screen. Can't wait to see it. Something else that's coming to your screen very soon in August is Ashoka. So I want to talk about Ashoka because the trailer came out. We're going to start getting into our Star Wars talk a little bit. The very first thing, though, is Ashoka. And honestly, I saw this trailer. I've been waiting for this for a while. Rosario Dawson, I think, kills this character. Loved her in Mandalorian. I loved her in Book of Boba Fett, which she did a little pop in. I think she's great. I think she works really well. She was apparently training for 14 hours a week just to get the aerobics down and the special effects stunts and stuff for this, so she could capture the energy of the character, which is fantastic. And in case you don't know who Ashoka is, she's an exiled Jedi who was once Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader's apprentice, before he turned to the dark side. And she was introduced in 2008 animated film Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and of course was in the Clone Wars TV series, chronicled her time learning from Anakin, and by the time the show concluded, she became a fan favorite, and she became really one of the first major female Jedis that have been put out there. So she's a huge character that's been animated forever, and they finally brought her to the screen thanks to the whole Mandalorian world and the whole movement for Star Wars on Disney Plus. It's been fantastic. So I saw this trailer, and honestly, I love the way she wields the freaking lightsabers. The fact that she throws them on the ground and then uses the force to spin them around and make a fucking hole and it goes down. I'm like, nobody does that, Right. And the Thrawn thing, I never watched the animated series, but I know of Thrawn, and I know that Thrawn is the most intelligent big bad that Star Wars has had. The fact that he was there with Darth Vader and there with Palpatine, and then afterwards he still got through all of it, the Empire falling, and it was this big pivotal character that's going to be only blown up even more. I think that this is just gonna be their new big bad and their new phase for a while, and he deserves it. And the fact that Lars Mikkelsen's coming back and he did the animated voice, this doesn't happen that often, but it's happening. So they made him blue in real life, and they brought him to the screen, and they shot it 8 episodes. So good for him. Doesn't happen all the time, like I said. And I love Ray Stevenson in this too. I think he's great. I think he looks like a badass in this. And honestly, the fact that he just looks so threatening with that lightsaber, he's got to be the big bad besides Thrawn. He has to be in this. And it just made me really
less
amped.
Big bad.
slightly less big bad.
The medium bad.
The medium bad, the Jedi bad, and he's more the brawn, and then Thrawn is more the brain. And that might be that kind of 1-2 combo. But I think it looks great. And then Hayden Christensen is attached to it. Of course he's attached to it, because if you're going to do this story, he taught her how to be a Jedi. So it's that seems like you'd have to show him at least 1 episode. And it says it's only 1 episode, but again, everyone's listed as 1 episode on the actual IMDb page. So he's probably going to be in it more than that. So I don't know. I was excited about it. I want to talk about it today. Let's go to Rachel first. Rachel, are you excited about this? Do you think this looks good? And does it make you be more amped about the Star Wars franchise?
I think the Star Wars franchise is cutting it real close on how many series they're putting out. They're going to really exhaust the fans' goodwill. I'm here for it. I'll keep watching stuff as long as I have the energy for it. But Marvel's kind of crested it, where they kind of oversaturated themselves too soon. And I'm really afraid that Star Wars is going to do the same thing, where people they're getting diminishing returns on excitement. I think it's going to be good. I'll still watch it. Their production quality for these Star Wars shows are out of this world. They put so much money into it. They treat them just as much a part of the family as the films. So I think it's going to look beautiful. I think the production's going to be good. I think it's going to be a good show. I just worry about fans becoming tired.
Yeah, and all these Disney Plus ones are all tying together, which we'll talk about in the next subject too. But yeah, so they have an idea that's going to all blend together into a movie eventually, which is nice. They're actually planning that far ahead, because a lot of times this doesn't happen. We look at the franchise, the last franchise, where it's like you did 3 movies and they had such a up and down. The storyline didn't seem like they had an idea what they were doing. They're changing directors without one narrative flowing through the whole thing, and then JJ's trying to fix it, and maybe they learn from that.
I love sequel films. I thought they were great.
Right.
I mean,
I am in a minority there. And
honestly, Rachel, I don't hate on them. I just know that I feel like there could have been more of a plan. The second one is still my least favorite. I actually like Rise of Skywalker a lot, and a lot of people don't.
So good. Yeah. And honestly,
that's the conversation.
Justice for the prequels too.
Yeah, it really is. The fact that the guy who played Jar Jar Binks came back in Mandalorian, good for him. Not as Jar Jar.
That was great.
Awesome for him. Awesome for him. Keoki, you saw this trailer. Are you excited about Ashoka? Is this really make you amp for us? And then how you feel about this shared universe right now?
Oh, I'm loving it. As soon as I saw her in Book of Boba Fett, or not Mandalorian, I'm excited. Oh, you brought her to life, and she's badass. And just off the bat, started bringing all that energy that I missed in the Clone Wars, because I didn't watch it because I thought, oh, this is animated, it's not going to be that good. I was wrong. It's actually really good, because it's Dave Filoni doing that and Bad Batch. He's just awesome. He just carries everything in, and he gives that energy to the characters that he's put on the screen. Now we get to see it in real life, so it's just beautiful. It's great to see it and to expand it. And I know, Rachel, you don't want that oversaturation for Star Wars to happen, but this is something, just like Brian said, that hey, this is a female Jedi that we get to see and fully experience and see her perspective, how she fights, and she's badass, and she has 2 lightsabers, so automatically.
And she has 2 lightsabers
for this show. I'm just let's keep it at this show and then take a break.
No, exactly right. We don't want to see the book of next Jedi that she's fighting with. It's no, just let her have that time to simmer, and just oh, this is great. This is awesome. All right.
Yeah, and this comes out in August, so it's not that far away. Of course, but there are more shows coming. There's a Skeleton Crew coming. That's got Jude Law in it. That looks. I mean, it sounds interesting. They haven't shown anything, but it sounds like people are saying it's like the Goonies in space, kind of, with Jude Law running them. Which, of course,
I could pass on that one. Give me a soda. Let's pass on that.
No,
there's acolytes too.
Easily.
Yeah.
Give me
Jude Law.
Second season of Obi-Wan before I took that show.
Oh man, Obi-Wan is great. I don't care what anybody. I had fun with it. It was fun.
And that's a discussion happening too. And Kathleen Kennedy was talking about that. How Ewan McGregor really wants to do it, and so the fact that he's pushing for it. I mean, I think it's only a matter of time till a second season comes of that. It's just a matter of how they line it up and how they make it work. Honestly, that Darth Vader battle was fucking awesome.
No,
it was so good.
Beautiful. It was beautiful. And they did the right pacing with it. It was just great. I'm looking at it, I'm you guys are using light the right way. This is how it's supposed to be. And I'm it was just perfect.
But since we're getting into it, this is a deeper conversation with a lot more Star Wars to talk about. So with that, everybody, now it's time for our featured story of the night. Yeah! All right, with that, I want to dive right into the big Star Wars announcement, everybody. And that is 3 more movies coming. 3 more movies, they said, the Star Wars fandom. The very first one is James Mangold, who did Logan, which I love that movie. And then his newest movie is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. He directed that. So they're giving James the director's chair for this, and he's going to tell the story of the Force. He'll go back to the dawn of the Jedi, a time set tens of thousands of years earlier than anything we've ever seen before. This might mean that we'll figure out who is the prime Jedi, who is the very first Jedi. They might actually touch on that, which a lot of people have wondered why they haven't brought that into the, onto the cinematic scene before. I don't know why they haven't, but this is their opportunity to do that. And this is going to be the person who founded the Order of Ahch-To, which is 25,000 years before the events of New Hope. And fans may know Ahch-To from the Return of the Jedi was the Last Jedi. Last Jedi it was, where Luke Skywalker has a little temple that's all tying back to Ahch-To. So James is doing this, where he's going to get into a deep dive into the past, telling the tale of the first Jedi, wielding the Force, harnessing it, and liberating power in an era of chaos and oppression. So that's our first one. That's only one. The second one.
I want them to make that one, and I want them to give me more Porg merchandise. I have such a collection of porgs, and if they're going back to that island, I'm gonna get more porgs.
You actually might. You might get more porgs. I mean, it's a possibility. But I think this is cool because it is something totally different, and you are diving into a world that we haven't experienced, and you can give us new Jedi. It doesn't matter what happens. Like, we're not connected. Right. We don't know what happens to them. We don't know if they die or live. You can make a whole new franchise out of this. It's a whole clean slate. There's no Skywalkers. There's no Palpatines. There's none of this. And you can have fun with it. I think you can. So hopefully they do with this.
Super interesting to see the primitive technology. I think it'll be super. I think the reason why some of the Star Wars spinoffs have failed historically in box office is because they were directly related to the Skywalker saga. Right. And people were like, well, I did want a Han Solo movie, but not this.
Right. No, like this.
It's
no,
true.
I thought Solo: A Star Wars Story was pretty good. I didn't mind the other spinoff that I can't remember the name of right now. Rogue One. I thought Rogue One was fine, but like those two movies, for some reason, the Star Wars fandom was like, "Fuck those movies. We do not like those."
I think it's Rogue One.
It's fine. It's fine to feel that way, but I think people overall, those movies would not have gotten that reaction if they weren't directly related to the Skywalker story. So I think this movie will do very well.
Yeah,
and I'm not being totally separate.
Yeah.
I mean, that goes a long way. Keoki, are you excited about this? Are you think it's going to be a good idea that they're giving him the helm to start a whole new franchise like this?
I think that's a great idea. Mangold knows how to shoot people, put the emotion into it, and then harness the action, like you said, with Logan, Copland, and then he even did the Wolverine where it was a crappy story, but he made the Wolverine look so great and feel great too, where I'm like, dude, I would really like this movie more if it was not as shittily written by Fox or someone else. And so it was great. Like half of it was just that Bushido Wolverine style, and you're like, oh man, this is awesome. So James Mangold is a great guy to do this. He knows how to get that raw emotion, how to get those feels. And then this is with Star Wars, so it's going to be that older tales. Like I remember listening to and watching Tales of the Jedi stuff. So this is just before that time, which was really exciting. I can't wait to see it and to learn more about it.
I mean, this makes sense to me too. I agree with you, Keoki. I think it just makes sense. I think it works. I think it's smart. And you're right. He's a good director. Honestly, you look at Logan. Like everyone says, let's never touch Logan because of how good it came out. And the Dial of Destiny, I'm excited to see. We'll see how it goes. You know, the last Indiana Jones, but you know what? Maybe he'll fix the whole thing and give Harrison Ford the best send off he can. I don't know, but this may be the most excited I would say out of everything I heard. I mean, there's two more, and I will say I'm still excited about the second one because I feel like it's a good idea. Okay, so the second one, Dave Filoni, right?
Filoni.
Dave Filoni, he's getting a chance to direct his very first Star Wars movie.
Ooh,
he's getting a chance. Now which is awesome for him. He directed The Mandalorian. He's been writing The Mandalorian. He wrote Mandalorian, and he also worked on Ashoka. So he's been working on all these different Disney Plus shows and helping guide them. He was trained by George Lucas. He actually learned underneath him. So they say a lot of his influence comes from actually George, which is awesome. So this new one, though, it's going to focus on the New Republic and close out this whole interconnected stories that have been told on Disney Plus, The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, and other Disney Plus series. So it's going to wrap all this up into a big little bow, which makes sense because if he's been working on this already, it seems like this is his way of okay, this is what I'm working towards, and this is how I'm going to get to it, right? I have an end goal. I'm going to make all these different shows that are going to build this story, and once it's all done, then I can actually have a movie. I can direct it. Now, they haven't announced an actual time they're going to start shooting this because it also depends on The Mandalorian. How long do they go with The Mandalorian before they wrap that up, before they can do a movie? So that's a big piece they're not talking about. Now, he said in an interview, he goes, well, there might be more Mandalorian after that, because maybe it just has to get to a certain point that gets to the movie, and then we get there. And they've been actively developing this for a while, of course. They've been working on The Mandalorian since Disney Plus launched. So this is at least smart. And the man's been working for Star Wars, like I said, forever. So good for him to actually have to direct this now and see his vision move forward, because it doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen like this. And Kathleen Kennedy gave him this option to do this. So it's awesome. He probably had to prove himself a little bit. Mandalorian had to be successful. You know? And then all of a sudden
I
this
don't think
happened.
they expected how successful Mandalorian was going to be. They had no idea that was going to blow up the way that it did.
They didn't have
I don't
enough
think so
merchandise
either.
to cover it, just like they did with Frozen. It's just like people were like, I want Grogu because you got this toys. They didn't have enough to make to send out to sell people.
Yeah.
Like
They weren't ready for Grogu to like blow up like this. I don't think they were. They kept him secret, but you know,
they kept his
and all
name
of a sudden
secret
he's
for
this
a
big
year.
hit.
Little baby Yoda,
Little
as we
baby
knew him
Yoda.
for the first year.
For the whole
It's
year,
so
we're
awesome.
calling Yoda. Who is this? Oh, his name, and you're like, Ahsoka tells you it's Grogu. You're like, the fuck? Like,
what? Like what?
Know, kidding me? He's 50. What are you like?
I'm excited for this film. I would love
Are you excited for this,
to
Rachel?
see them finish bridging that gap between the first 3 Star Wars films that came out and then the Kylo Ren part. So I would love to finish seeing the part between Darth Vader and Kylo Ren, like wrap that time period up, and then you have like a really nice cohesive arc.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds fantastic, and it sounds like the best thing for the fans too to have that, you know, to be able to tie it all together like this, so it all means something. We all want it to mean something. We don't want it to be like just like cookie cutter shit, just like thrown at us, you know. You know, we want to have some kind of substance, and I think that's what's great about all these shows is they kind of connect and they're all in the same world, and it's a world we've never seen before. But it's still like associated with people we love and we care about. So that maybe ties us in still in a way, but it's not directly affecting all these different characters as much as like, you know, the sequel series did. Keoki, what do you think? Are you excited about this, that they're going to do a movie based off all of these? I mean, you've been watching the shows, I know, so you got to be a little bit excited, right?
I'm super excited. I think it's going to be a great thing. I know I'm like, I have the energy for it, but I know that I'm like, all right, I know I want to see this product. I know the preview is going to be fine, but after watching The Mandalorian and just being sucked into it and then bringing that raw emotion from it, I'm like, dude, this is just great. And I'm like, I know some of that's from Favreau, you know, playing off from
Favreau's had a lot,
right? And he's bringing in everything, bringing the characters alive, and then carrying that over into season 2. And you're like, this is awesome. Like Rachel said, we didn't know the show was going to be this big, and now it's huge. And that one's like the best show out of all of them so far. And so, you know, it's going to be something epic to turn this into a movie and kind of just fire off. And it's probably going to be nuts, and it's probably going to be great. Hopefully. That's what I'm hoping for. But I am excited for it.
I'm putting fingers crossed out there, honestly. Like, if anything, I feel great for the guy himself, because the fact that he was working under Lucas before, and then he's been here this whole time. He was involved with Rebels. He was involved with the Clone Wars. You know, the fact that he's like bringing his characters from the Clone Wars to life now and getting to be involved with all the casting and the storylines and, you know, and treating these characters right, because he knows he was there doing the animated series. So he's the person to be behind, and it's bringing a lot of that old school feeling of Star Wars back to TV. And now they'll bring it to the screen again, the big screen. So for me, I'm like, thank you, Kathleen Kennedy, for giving this guy this opportunity, because it is bringing us a lot of great television and hopefully a great movie, and, you know, wrapping it all up. And I think Thrawn will probably be like the big bad in that. I bet he will. I bet they're going to kind of bring him in now, introduce him, and then he'll become that villain for his movie. That's my thought on it, at least. Now, the very last thing that came up, and this is the one everyone's kind of been going crazy on the internet about, is they're going to continue the Rey storyline. That's right. Daisy Ridley's coming back, and they're going to go 15 years in the future. So 15 years after the Rise of Skywalker, she's going to be making a whole new Jedi Order. That's right, a lot bigger. She's going to be the mentor, and she's going to try to attempt to bring it back. Post-war, post-First Order, and the Jedi are in disarray. So Daisy Ridley came out on stage, and she said, hey, everybody, I'm back. And she was excited. I guess they've been talking to her for a while. They finally had the opportunity to make the announcement here now. She was ready to go. Kathleen called her up and said, pulling the trigger. So she knew, which is kind of fun that they had an idea to keep going. People have been like second guessing this, been like, are they going to actually continue this or let this lie in the past? But I mean, you've spent all this money establishing these characters, and if maybe you aren't happy with 100% what you did before, at least you can grow off that and learn off that. And honestly, for me, again, I'm not like mad at all these people are mad about this franchise, and I'm like, I was fine with it. I thought The Last Jedi was all right. I mean, that was my weakest link in it, just because I feel like Rian Johnson was shitting on JJ, like everything he did. He's like, well, you did this, well, fuck you, I'm doing this. Well, you did this, I don't want to do that. You know, that was my only thing, my complaint about that movie. I still liked the characters in it. I still had fun with it. You know, Rise of Skywalker, I really enjoyed. It was like you know, it was like an Indiana Jones movie. They're going after the MacGuffin. They gotta find it. Then they bring Palpatine back, which I thought was fine. They should have established him earlier, I think, but whatever. Oh, my biggest complaint for that movie is, and people did it online, is when Rey is actually fighting Palpatine at the very end. Online, people put like all the past Jedi behind her, like cheering her on, because you hear the voices, but you don't see them. But they put it in with the Force Ghost. I'm like, why didn't they do that? It's so much more impactful. It's like everybody's there, you know? But that's my only beef with it. But the question is, do we need some more Rey? Do we need more Rey? Keoki, I'm going to go to you first. Are you excited that Rey's story is going to continue and that Daisy Ridley is coming back? Or should they leave her alone in the past and start again?
I'm with you in saying that The Rise of Skywalker was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I've seen it several times, and I didn't find that it was bad. I was like, okay, I'm on board with it. I was really upset how the transition with The Last Jedi, because like you said, it was like an about face for everything that you built up in the first movie, and now you're kind of doing like an off shot, and then Last Jedi had to go in there and try to clean it up. But you had already mucked up a lot of stuff, especially with, you know, Luke Skywalker in there. You had him, and then you lost him, and then you actually lost Princess Leia in the third one. And so there was so much, you know, loss in this movie, and then them having to come back and feel like they were defeated. But that's what I liked about The Last Jedi. Not Last Jedi, sorry, The Rise of Skywalker was, it kind of gave you that hint of what Leia and Luke were doing. Like, she did train. She did become a Jedi too, and that's why Rey was able to train with her. And so this is a great idea, I think, because now you can carry on to see her after this point where Palpatine's gone. She's, you know, child of Palpatine. So you just build up this order. It's going to be a cool little way of kind of doing what Luke was done after the Return of the Jedi when he's rebuilding the Jedi ranks. So now she gets to do it, and you get to see how it works with her. So I'm ready for it.
Which I think is great too. It's like, you know, seeing what her real story is, you know, and actually building off that, because before it was just finding out who she was and her origins, and now she's a Palpatine, we know that. So it's like, okay, so what's, you know, she has this dark side, she has this light side, like what kind of Jedi Order will this be, and what's she going to bring to it? And I think, I mean, of course she's going to bring good, I would assume, but maybe there'll be some influence, there'll be some kind of fun in that too, and to see what kind of new Jedi we have. Again, it's a whole new thing in its own. It's like you've established it all. It's almost like a whole new franchise. Now they said that Luke Skywalker may or may not be involved as a Force Ghost. That's what Kathleen Kennedy said. She said his influence.
Give me Kylo Ren Force Ghost.
That would make more sense,
right?
Ben
Solo Force Ghost.
Ben Solo.
Raylo lives.
Raylo lives.
Rachel, are you excited about this? Do you think it's great they're going to continue her story, or should they have left it before? Because I know you like the franchise, so what do you think?
I like the franchise. I like Rey as a character. I like Daisy Ridley. I think this one should have been a TV show. This one should have been a Disney Plus series. The Rise of Skywalker perfectly ended the Skywalker series. There was 3 sets of 3. It had great punctuation to it. We did not need more movies with any of those characters. What they should have done is make this one the series. And if they wanted to make one of the previous ideas a film instead, make the establishment of Jedi, the ancient Jedi, a film. Make this one a series. And let us really have the time we deserve with Rey. Really get into that character building. And let the Skywalker saga have ended the way it ended. Because I like this character. Great. I want more of this character. But I don't know if a film is the right call.
Understandable.
Well, the question is, are you going to do 3 movies too? I mean, they're saying 1, but they just trying to do like 3 more? I mean, before,
they should.
After The Rise of Skywalker, they said they would never greenlight like 3 movies in a row again. That's what Kathleen Kennedy said. She wouldn't do that again because of all the drama and the back and forth and the director issues. But I'm like, I don't know. I feel like they like their 3s. So maybe that's what they're still in the back of their mind. They're still thinking that. But it would have been great as a show. You're right. As a TV show, like we talked about the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, it worked really well as a show. Now, I heard that people have made a cut of it's just a movie, and people love that too. I have not seen that. But I would like to watch that too. I'd like to see what that's like. But I think this series gives you so much more room, as we've seen with all these Disney Plus shows, to really dive in. And they spend the money on them anyways. They look fantastic. So, I mean, why not just do that? I like that idea. Kathleen Kennedy, what you doing out there? Listen to Rachel here.
Kathleen, let's get on the phone. Let's go.
Let's talk about this, you know?
And maybe they pitched a show, and maybe Daisy was like, I'll only do a film. Maybe
that could be too.
Only do Daisy, and they probably got the a few of the other actors in.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying too. Would they bring back the other cast? Like Finn, would he come back? Probably, I would think, maybe. You know,
they
I don't know about Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac and the guy who played Finn involved, so they probably have the whole trio back. But
Oscar Isaac said he was done though. He's like, I won't do any more. He said. So,
okay.
But then again, when the mouse comes a knocking, you never know. When he flies in that Mandalorian.
But there
and throws money at you. Oh, take this, boys. Huh?
There also is kind of the Star Wars curse. Once you get big in Star Wars, you kind of don't get a lot of other work a lot of the time. Like, and every part of the series have hit that. Daisy Ridley hasn't been working much since.
I haven't seen her really in anything. She did like one movie that with like, I think it was with Tom Holland.
Yeah.
And then, but I mean, I remember the Tom Holland one, there was like a big issue that didn't release for a long time. They almost scrapped it.
Even in the OGs, Mark Hamill had a really hard time getting work after Star Wars. Yeah. So like a lot of these actors are hit really hard by being in such a notable series that they become so associated with it, they can't get other work.
Like the typecasting.
So I think a lot of those actors maybe don't want to come back for more because they're like, I would like other jobs in the future, please. And Daisy's just like, let me do it. Just let me at it.
She's like, I'm waiting all day. Then they ended the third one and she's like, I'm on speed dial. Call me when you need me. I'm ready to go. I'm going to keep this lightsaber in my pocket. Ride your rock and roll. Let's go.
Let's do this.
A lot of Star Wars news, everybody, though. Like, you know, before we talked about you were supposed to be a Taika Waititi one still on the back burner, and she said that's still a long way down the line. That's still happening. The Obi-Wan Kenobi thing, like I said earlier, that's something that they're talking about still. Nothing's moving forward as of now, but they're having lots of conversations about it. Of course, there was the Kevin Feige ones put in the back burner. So there's a lot of stuff. The Rian Johnson one, she said she's still talking to Ryan, but that's in the back burner. These three are happening first. And there's no announcements. There's no dates. There's very early development, but they are in development. So that's what we're getting, everybody. If you're excited about it, that's your Star Wars that's coming next. So I think we're excited about a lot of it. I'm here for it too.
So.
Give me every Star Wars property, they give you more droids, and I really love droids. So I'm like, yes, give me all the new little friends.
Yeah.
Bring on the droids.
I
want all the droids.
They're getting creative with it, so I'm ready for it. Give me more droids with personality. I love it.
Give me more droids. I love it. More droids, more porgs.
More porgs.
More Star Wars. Well, anyways, we got to get going, everybody. Keoki, thank you for joining us here on Kruse Control for the very first time. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me. I loved being on the show. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It always goes by too fast. It's just 1, 2, 3, and we're done. Rachel, thank you for being here again, as always. Love having you here. Everybody out there, thank you for watching Kruse Control. Please like and subscribe. Join our Patreon if you can. And, you know, tell your friends, tell your kids, tell your children, tell your little chinchilla, tell your cat, tell your dog, tell your pet squirrel, tell your little guacamole in your pocket. I don't know. To watch Kruse Control, everybody. Anyways, we gotta go. So everybody have a great night, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Take care and see ya.